It's real talk. It's real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk. Real talk. With your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go on this Monday evening. It is the 18th day of December. 1 week from today is Christmas Day. 2 weeks from today is New Year's Day. So yeah, we are pulling in on it quickly. And more importantly than that, this is the last live show of 2023 for us here at Real Talk Memphis. The long but great year, but we're going to wrap it up tonight because folks deserve to have Christmas and folks deserve to have New Year's. I mean me, but anybody else who that applies to. Great to have you with us on this evening, another chilly evening outside. I'm told lows will be in the mid-20s by the time we wake up in the morning. Wasn't that warm today? But sun is down, so things are cooling down, absolutely. But it's warming up in here. We feel good. We're ready to go. Glad I'm back in the air chair. I have been fighting something internally for like the past week or so, cold or crud. I don't know whatever you want to define it as, but it's not feeling your best. I am here. See that big yellow thing? And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can see me. I have a yellow cap on back there in the back. That's me. But we have a great show for you tonight. At least we hope we do. We think we do. We try to put together something that you all might be inspired about and enjoy. By the way, before I go completely out of order tonight, did Dallas win yesterday? Did the Cowboys win? The Tigers did win, but I just wanted to know for all you Cowboy fans. I'm sorry, rubbed the wrong way, a little irritated now. Radio's clicking off all over all over the city now because I asked the question. Anyway, on to the show. Many ways to get this fine piece of radio broadcasting. Of course, 91.7 on your FM dial is the one way. We are live right now there. You can also catch us on the WYXR app. We are also available live on the TuneIn app. And for those of you who wish to do so, we are available on Facebook Live. And when the show posts the next day or so, you can catch us on YouTube and wherever it is you get your podcast. In terms of the show tonight, I think we have some pretty good guests. Randy Taylor is a gentleman who many of you probably are not familiar with. He is an MPD officer, but he is also the founder and executive director of an organization called Hope Activated. And this is basically a program to help save our youth. He comes about this in very honest ways in terms of his own life and his own children, but he wants to make sure these kids are saved and really, headed up the right road and the right path and doing the right thing. I look forward to talking with him. A little bit later on, we will have State Representative District 86, Justin J. Pearson will stop by and chat with us about more than an eventful year this young man has had, to say the least. To say that he's had an eventful year is probably one of the biggest understatements we can make for him. So we'll find out how things have gone as he prepares to head back up to Nashville next month to begin another full legislative session. And in the second half hour of the show, we cannot end this year without getting the thoughts and opinions from the author, the commentator, the columnist. He is Otis Sanford, and we'll chat with him about what we have dealt with and, more importantly, what lies ahead for all of us in 2024. So that is our lineup for this evening. We hope you sit back, relax, take it easy. It's too cold to be messing around outside anyway. Put the fireplace on, put the heat on, crank the radio up while you're eating your favorite leftover or whatever it is you're having for dinner tonight, and hang out with us for the next hour. Of course, many of you were very fortunate enough to be able to say today you celebrate another trip around the sun. So if you are celebrating your birthday today or did over the weekend or have it coming up this week, This is your segment. This is where we celebrate you. This is how we let everybody know, whether they wanted to or not, that it's your birthday. But I can't do that unless I tell Bryn, hit it, Bryn.
Happy birthday!
Lola's in the bullpen, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready. Happy birthday is going out to the following. Tiffany Boyce celebrating today. I know Tiffany. Happy birthday, Tiff. Fanny Foster celebrating today, as is Wendy Hayes. If you listen to traffic either in the morning or in the evening times, Wendy Hayes is the voice that you hear on the radio, giving you the lowdown on traffic. Vatra Wilson celebrating today, Vatra Wilson Tipton, rather. Irene Manzanet is celebrating her birthday today. Is Dee Ayers, Kenneth Mays, Tierney Hendricks celebrating her birthday today, as is Tracy Jones and Alfred Patton. And don't go away, here's Lola.
A very special happy birthday to my bestie's little daughter, Lacey Faith Miles. Happy birthday, Lacey Faith. It's double digits. She's 10.
Oh, Lord. Lacey
Watch
Faith
out,
getting
world.
old. Watch out, man. Lacey's on the move there. Well, happy birthday to Lacey Faith and to all of those who are celebrating today or coming up this week. We appreciate you. We love you. We are all very happy to wish you a wonderful day. I hope it's been a great day. And we hope to be with you next year to celebrate your next trip around the sun. Thank you, Bryn. All right. So we do have a death report to report. Many of you are familiar with the actor Andre Braugher. He was in so many movies. Glory is one of the ones. Of course, he was Homicide: Life on the Streets. He's been in the Law and Order SVU, Brooklyn. Yeah, that's it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, he was in that series as well, regular for the last 6 years. So, he died suddenly at the age of 61. It was determined that he had been dealing with lung cancer. So, prayers go out to him. May his memory always be a blessing. In news and notes, the mayor-elect, soon to be the new mayor of the city of Memphis, Paul Young, has made a decision that he's going to retain the current police chief. Her name is C.J. Davis, as he begins his new administration on the 1st. He mentioned that in order to aid the police department, he will identify a primary point person to lead our pandemic level response. That Public Safety Task Force Director, that will be the title, will work with Chief Davis, the Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy, and community partners, and locking up repeat offenders and helping them to stay locked up. That would be a good first step, and that is one of the priorities of the administration. He likes her street-level approach to handling crime and understands that we need that type of approach. So we'll see what happens. That announcement was greeted by mixed results. Some folks in, some folks not so in, and we'll see what happens with that. Let me see here. Police are still investigating. Very tragic here. The shooting death of a 1-year-old child. Well, this happened early Saturday morning about 2 a.m. At a home in Fraser. Police have no leads at this time. But a 1-year-old child succumbed to injuries sustained after being shot. Let's see here. The Memphis and Shelby County Schools making a little bit of news. The 5 finalists have been identified. The 5 finalists were interviewed on Saturday. And Angela Whitelaw is one of the 5 candidates who was interviewed. Now, Angela actually is a current superintendent of academics and school support for Memphis and Shelby County Schools. So she is one local candidate who is being considered for the position. We will keep you posted as progress continues and as all of this continues to move on. So the Memphis Tigers are playing some pretty good basketball. They won a thrilling game over the weekend They beat Clemson by 2 points, 79-70. So you're Lola in the background. They beat them by 2. It was a good game, really good game. They play the University of Virginia tomorrow night. That's no cupcake. That's no walk in the park. But they will play Virginia tomorrow night. So we need all our folks to get out there and cheer. Ja Morant, remember him? Star point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies. He actually returns from his 25-game suspension tomorrow night. The Grizzlies will be on the road against the New Orleans Pelicans. He will be eligible to play tomorrow night, and he probably will play tomorrow night. Then he comes home. The next game after that will be a home game, either the day after or 2 days after. That will be when he will be making his triumphant home return. I am sure the game is probably going to be a sellout. A lot of people excited about seeing him back on the court. Lord knows the Grizzlies need him because they have not done very well up until this point. So that's a look at news and notes on this Monday evening. And did I mention that this is the last Real Talk Memphis for 2023? If I didn't, it is. So we hope you listen tonight and get a chance to check out what we're talking about this evening. It's been a long year, but it's been a great year. This is, I think, my third year completed here, I believe. I think it is. And we're going to take a little downtime for Christmas and New Year's and be back early January. But we will be back sooner than that. We're going to take our first break of the night. And when we come back, we're going to kick things off and get into a nice, warm, cozy radio broadcast. What do you say? I'm Chip. You know who you are. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
As we approach the end of 2023, take a moment to consider the ways WYXR volunteer DJs have enriched your days, making them smoother, livelier, and more joyful. This is the power of music, and the power of your partnership keeps it alive. This month, kindly consider supporting WYXR with a donation to ensure your community radio station can keep providing the music experience you deserve in the upcoming year. Visit newyear.wyxr.org and make your contribution today.
Located on the second floor of the Crosstown Concourse, the Memphis Listening Lab is a curated collection of music and music history that is open to the public 6 days a week. Vinyl Happy Hour happens every Friday between 3 and 5 p.m., where guest DJs from around the community will spin some of their favorite records. More information and a complete listing of upcoming events at memphislisteninglab.org.
Support for WYXR comes from the Orpheum Theater, presenting The Illusionist, Magic of the Holidays, happening December 28th and 29th. The Illusionist is a magic show for all ages, direct from Broadway. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Barware is proud to support WYXR. Located on Front Street in downtown Memphis, Barware serves fresh and seasonally inspired menus every Tuesday through Saturday evening at 5 p.m. More information at barwarememphis.com. S1E147 is proud to support WYXR. Located in the central atrium on the first floor of Crosstown Concourse, S1E147 serves plant-based cheeses, all handcrafted on site. S1E147's Wine and Cheese Cafe is open every Wednesday through Sunday evening at 3 p.m. More information at S1E147.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this beautiful but chilly Monday evening in the city. Chip with you. Very happy to have you along for the ride. Now, my first guest tonight, first of all, we all need our young folks these days, and our young folks need us. And, we need committed individuals because a lot of our young folks are straying down negative paths, and we need to try to steer them back in the right direction. Well, my first guest opened up a facility dedicated to the young folks and dedicated to showing them right from wrong, teaching them right from wrong, and really understanding the path of life that you choose. He is Randy Taylor. Randy is the founder and the executive director of an organization called Hope Activated, if you've never heard of it. He's also a Memphis police officer as well. And Randy joins us now because I read his story in the paper, as I'm sure many of you did. But boy, I'm telling you, his commitment to these young people comes to us or to him from a very personal place. And we'll talk about that as well. But first and foremost, Randy, welcome to the show, man. I'm glad we were able to get you on. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you as well, Chip. Thank you so much for having me on.
So listen, man, and absolutely for that. But Hope Activated is a powerful phraseology in the first place. What was it about you? Because the one thing in particular, what I read in that article, it was like this for you was something that had to be done. This was something that you're a Christian man, but clearly you had a mission, and this was your mission. Why was that?
The reason being for the foundation of this organization, Chip, is because over the years of my law enforcement career, I started in corrections, and I progressed and promoted in corrections, and I ended up being a gang investigator in corrections. Mm-hmm. So that's really was the starting point of it, because as a gang investigator in the prison institution system, I had a chance to interview and talk to a lot of gang members. A lot of these gang members were 18 and 19 years old who had transitioned from juvenile detention centers to what we call the big house.
Right.
And so in interviewing them and talking to them, they would, it sounds crazy, but they were just normal people who committed criminal acts. Mm-hmm. And granted, the criminal acts, most of them were horrible acts. They committed murder and things of that nature. But seeing them making these decisions that impacted their lives for the rest of their lives, a lot of them were life sentences. Mm-hmm. And so you're talking young men, 18, 19, and 20 years old. And so that really hit home with me, because I had two boys at the house at that time. Now, and my sons were around that time, probably 11, 12, 13 years old. So it really made me start focusing more on teaching them and directing them and instructing them. And so as my career advanced, I ended up getting into law enforcement with the city of Brownsville, Tennessee, as a police officer. Yeah. And that gave me another area outside of the penitentiary to see what our young men were getting involved in, and the decisions that they were making, and the crimes that they were committing. And so, like most people, I looked at this situation, and I thought that if there were an organization that could just be hands-on and could connect and give these young people the attention and the platform that they needed, that I felt like that would be effective. Because I started thinking about the hope, and when there is not hope, then people will do anything. And so that made me think that our young people probably didn't have hope that they could even produce a better life for themselves.
Randy, I was going to ask you, in talking with these young adults that you were, in the penal farm there, what were some of the things as you were having conversation with them about maybe the whys in terms of the choices that they made that brought them behind bars? What were some of the things that they told you?
Some of the things they told me, some of these young men were locked up for charges and convictions of rape. And so they shared with me, a couple of them shared with me, that they didn't even know at the time that the young lady that they were engaged with or committing sexual acts with wasn't even the proper age. And so it was just out of ignorance,
Okay.
not having that positive male figure in their lives, not having a role model to instruct them, even in the area of dating. A lot of them I talked to, they didn't necessarily go out to commit murder, but it ended up escalating to that over drug deals going bad, or stepping in to intervene on behalf of a friend. Some of them were convicted with second-degree murder. As we know, second-degree murder is not the intentional killing of another. That means it wasn't premeditated, but it happened sometimes throughout the course of a fight. So I saw that they were not making good social decisions, and 9 times out of 10, maybe even 10 times out of 10, there was not a positive male figure in their lives.
Having said that, and obviously, you could hear the dedication, in your voice as to say something needed to be done, something had to be done. But you were very forthright and in the article that was written about you, that this is personal for you. And you mentioned earlier about your 2 sons, and they had some challenges as well, did they not?
Yes, Chip, they had major challenges. My 2 boys, for one, I've never been an absent father. I've never been absent. My father wasn't absent, and I appreciate that, and I'm thankful for that. I thank God for that. And so I had that positive role model and that positive male figure in my household my entire life, and I vowed that my children, my boys, would never be without me, and I promised them that every time that they look around, that Daddy would be there. They got to the age to where they made their own decisions. And from that first union, that was my first wife, and we divorced. So when we divorced, I took custody of my children. And so I wasn't the fun parent. I wasn't, you always got the fun parent and the strict parent.
Sure.
And so I was the parent with the rules and the guidance and the structure and the discipline. And so, but I never did want to keep them away from their mother, just because you had the adults that decided that we could not continue in this union. But I didn't want the kids to be away from their mom. So on the weekends, they would go visit.
Right. And
it was during these visits that they got involved with gangs in Jackson, Tennessee. They got involved with the vice lords. I mean, I'm just going to call it like it is. And they got involved with the vice lords. And so that's what led them down that path. So one day when I picked them up from their mother's house, I saw them saying goodbye to their friend, and they did a handshake. Now, keep in mind, I was a gang investigator for years. So I recognized this as a gang handshake. And that's when I dove deep and more intently with this affiliation that I had perceived. And so, man, not to go into all the details, but my oldest boy was, he was convicted of 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder.
Wow.
Probably 10 years ago now. He was 17. And he had decided that he wanted to live with his mom. Within 6 months, he was turning 18. So he decided he wanted to live with his mother, so he left home. And it wasn't a runaway situation because, like I said, within 6 months, he would be 18 years old. And so that same year, he shot 2 Crip gang members in a shootout. And so right now he's serving a 20-year sentence in the state penitentiary. Oh. And so, and yeah, man, it gets worse. My son under him, he would not leave the gangs alone as well. And sure enough, he made his way back to Jackson, Tennessee. And in the commission of a robbery, they left his lifeless body on the floor in an apartment while they were robbing a Crip gang member for some marijuana. And so it cost him his life. And so he lost his life at the young age. I get confused with his age when he died, when he was killed. I think he was 19 years old. No, I'm sorry. He was 21. He was 21 years old. Yeah. And he was killed. And so at the same time, I'm feeling this burden of helping other young men. And so you can only imagine what position that put me in, with doubting what I felt was a call on my life, looking at the situation as as I couldn't save my own young men, my own boys.
Yeah.
And so I had to deal with that, and I had to battle that, and I struggled with that. I really struggled with that because, let the truth be told, I didn't save my middle son. Now my oldest boy, he still has a chance. He'll get out one day. But I had to turn that negative situation into something positive. And so the drive and the desire, it even intensified within me, because I was not going to sell out to the vicissitudes that life had brought my way.
Yeah.
I was not going to abandon the vision. And so I moved forward. I didn't have a lot of energy and tenacity, but I continued to move forward. And here we are today, still moving forward in this vision, still helping young people, still changing lives. And I'm able to tell that story to young people. We don't operate out of a fear approach. We don't operate out of a militant or a boot camp approach.
Right.
We operate out of love and compassion.
Yeah, and real. You're being real. You're being real. I mean, this is
just
real.
Being real,
this is
my brother. Just being real.
This is
so,
yeah.
And it connects with them.
Yeah. So, well, you know, I'll tell you this. I was very, very impressed by reading about you, and you know, obviously your background experience in law enforcement, but the personal experiences and the tragedies that you had to deal with in terms of that, and that is clearly what has fueled you to change the lives of these young people. Randy, if people want to know more about Hope Activated or want to get involved with you, talk with you, give us some contact information. How can we reach out and find you?
Man, I'm so glad you asked. Our location, for one, is at 988 Mississippi Boulevard, and we're located. Most people in Memphis know the Soul Food Grill restaurant in Mississippi and Walker.
Yeah,
we're directly next door to them, and so we have an organization or a business Facebook page up at Hope Activated. You can look us up on there and contact us from there. We also have our website is up. And it's at www.hopeactivated.org. And our information is there. The office phone number is 901-484-3062. Or either, Chip, they can send an email. We receive email referrals all the time. You know, I received one yesterday from the district attorney's office, public defender's office, rather. And we're going out to the detention center and talk to some mentees that was referred to us from there. So the email address is rtaylor@hopeactivated.org.
Well, listen, you know, I hope that people are paying attention to this. I hope that if they didn't see it live, that they go and they rebroadcast. It's the podcast, so they can see it anytime. Randy, God bless you, man, for what you are doing. We need more soldiers just like you, and that's why it was so important for me. And I know you, and I know it was a tough one to get us together here. But I'm so happy that you made time because I wanted people to hear why this organization is so important and why it's so important to you. And why we all need you're pulling together, you're putting a spirit out that we all need to pull together. And I just want to wish you nothing but the best of success. And now that we know each other, anything we can do, and I mean this sincerely, anything we can do on this program to help you in any way to further your mission, all you have to do is reach out, man. I'm always here, always here.
Thank you so much, Chip. And once again, man, like you said, I know we went through some turmoil trying to get this date set,
yeah,
but nonetheless, man, I'm happy that it happened, and I appreciate you for even thinking about us and bringing us on. I'm excited that you allowed us to use your platform to get this message out there, and we are committed to this. There's no stopping us, and we're moving forward, man. And our objective is to make a difference in the lives of our young people here in Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you so much, my brother.
Absolutely. That. God bless you, man. Happy holidays to you and your family. And I look forward to talking to you in 2024, okay?
For sure. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man who is doing what he is doing to try to save our generation, our next generation. They need help, and we need soldiers like him to be able to do that. I really, really glad that we were able to get him on the show. We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, or our next break, and when we come back, we can shift gears a little bit and hopefully talk some politics with a fella that all of us know. And if you didn't know, you heard about him pretty quick as in the world of politics. He is State Representative Justin J. Pearson, and he's supposed to be joining us in just a few minutes. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will continue on this Monday edition, this last edition of this year of Real Talk. Memphis, I'm Chip. Don't go away.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Bassberry Sims is proud to support WYXR, celebrating over 100 years of dedication to diversity, equity, and inclusion in leading clients through legal challenges. More information at bassberry.com.
Hi, this is Anita Ward, here to tell you a bit about my alma mater, Rusk College, which supports the music of the Mid-South through its partnerships with WYXR. I've been known for singing since my days on campus, and I continue to sing Rusk College's praises. Did you know Rusk College offers 23 plus majors? 2 new ones will be implemented this fall: forensic science and religious studies. For more information on admissions, enrollment, and activities, visit ruskcollege.edu.
Whether you kickstart your weekends with Amanda on Finders Keepers, cure your Sunday scaries with Brandy on Putting on Airs, jet set across the globe with DJ Alpha Whiskey on Flight Risk, or spend your Saturday afternoons in the company of the one and only Pastor Ship, we thank you for listening to WYXR this year and supporting the over 90 volunteers that make up this station. Elevate your radio experience and ensure these incredible volunteer DJs continue to soundtrack your days in 2024. Visit newyear.wyxr.org to make a tax-deductible donation and make a difference as we enter the new year.
Think about how much you've listened to WYXR over the past year. If it was an hour or 2 hours every day, or most days, you've listened between 500 and 700 hours. And that's a lot of radio. And it's worthy of your financial support. Become a contributing listener in time for the new year, or renew your support now. Visit newyear.wyxr.org today to make your year-end tax-deductible contribution. Support for WYXR comes from the Orpheum Theater, presenting Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer the Musical on December 19th. It's an adventure that teaches us what makes you different can be what makes you special. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. Chip with you, and my next guest is really someone who doesn't need much of an introduction. If he hasn't had a whirlwind of a year, I don't know anybody who has. He is, when he first announced that he was going to run for the state representative for the seat for Barbara Cooper, he was on this show. And he has had quite a year since he was elected. He went up to Nashville to serve the citizens that he represents. And of course, wanted to lobby for gun control rights and the rights of people not only here but up in Nashville after a shooting. He was expelled from the House. He, along with Justin Jones and another one of their partners, he had to go through another re-election, but he's back. And he is fired up and he is ready to go. And he is State Representative Justin J. Pearson, and he joins us now. And it is great to see you, my friend. How you doing?
It is great to be with you. Indeed, it has been an extraordinary year for District 86, for this movement that we're in and a part of, to end gun violence, and also to just lift up the voices in our community that for a long time have been ignored by the people in the Tennessee General Assembly. And I appreciate your help in making sure we spread the word about the need for us to be engaged and involved in what's going on, and to help to really keep our democracy going and to change the things that are happening in our community, like this epidemic with gun violence, using all the resources and tools and energy that we've got.
Now, and having said that, you live here, you represent, a district here. Memphis has made news, and for not a lot of good reasons of late. Our escalating crime issues are front page news each and every day. I know you're a very thoughtful young man, and I know how much this bothers you, and how much it disturbs you, and how much you would like to see change. But just as a beginning of this process, how are you affected by what you see and what you hear every day happening in our streets?
Mm-hmm. Deeply affected. I mean, for me, this is not something that I get desensitized to. This is not something that I have become conditioned toward or am willing to accept as the way that things have to be in our community. And so I still am as sad, as angry, as frustrated as many people are every single time that we deal with the effects of gun violence. The reality is, and in some communities, they pay attention to gun violence, after mass incidents happen, right? And we saw that even in our own state with the terrible tragedy in the Covenant School, and how harmful that was to our community and shattering across our country. 3 9-year-olds, 3 folks going to work who were killed because of a mass shooter. And we deal with the reality, Chip, every day, just about, where someone is shot or killed due to gun violence in our community. And that trauma, that tragedy shatters families. It shatters our sense of safety and security. And so I remain, and my resolve in this issue does not change, because I see what it is doing in District 86. I see what it's doing to my hometown and the community that I care so much about. And even this year, on January 10th, Larry Thorne, my classmate from Mitchell High School, he and I graduated together, was killed due to an act of gun violence. Last fall, my mentor, Dr. Yvonne Nelson, was killed due to an act of gun violence. Several years ago, my younger cousin was killed due to an act of gun violence. And so it isn't something that I care about for a moment. This is something that matters because aunts and uncles and mothers are continuously and consistently grieving the loss of loved ones from unnecessary and preventable acts of violence that could be prevented if people in positions of power did what they were empowered to do, which is to protect our communities.
You have been fighting this against the folks up in Nashville, your Republican colleagues in particular in that House. I have asked many of your colleagues through the course of time, what can realistically be done to a state house that allows people as young as 18 to have guns without permits, without background checks, without any kind of checks and balances at all. What kind of hope, and I know you'll never give up, but I mean, what kind of realistic hope do we have, Justin, as you prepare to go back into session next month to try to get this changed and to try to get some sane minds, to understand that this is a crisis that we're all dealing with?
Yeah, no, we're living it's a gun violence epidemic that's happening that is going to require a coordinated effort between our federal, our state, our local people in order to address. I mean, gun violence is the number one killer of children in the state of Tennessee.
Yes.
And in this country. This is not the way that things should be, right? This is not what we can accept as our new normal. This is not how our children should be living and walking and operating in fear. Neither should any of us be scared to go downtown, right, at night, or go to a church or go to school. These are things that are the real fears that are prescient for our communities. And the truth is, this movement that is building, this multiracial intergenerational movement of people that is growing across the state of Tennessee, across even political spectrums, I think is forcing some Republicans who are in more competitive districts, who are in places where the parents are calling and are emailing for them to do something, is forcing them to have a change, maybe not a change of heart, but at least a change in perspective, that this movement to end gun violence, this movement for our democracy, it is growing and we are not going anywhere. And I think ultimately it is going to be our persistence to this cause and this issue that is going to change the General Assembly. And that's something that I want to encourage all of your listeners. I want to encourage everyone who cares deeply about these issues to pay attention to. Democracy is not just what happens on election day. I'm so fortunate to be reelected and to be serving District 86 in the legacy of Dr. Barbara Ward Cooper. But democracy's activation happens between elections. And so it's the committee meetings that we continue to go to. It's the phone calls that we continue to make. It's the engagement that we continue to have between elections that really show that our democracy is worth fighting for, and we force those who are in positions of power to do what we need for them to do. And right, we're in a supermajority Republican state.
Right.
That is a hill to climb.
Sure.
But to your point, we're not going to shy away from it. We're going to put forward 10 bills next year related to it. And then I want to say a little bit about what we're going to try and do locally. But go ahead.
No. I was gonna. That was my next point. My next question. I mean, what do we do here? How do we change things here? How do we change minds, hearts, and perspectives here to try to curb this problem?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing in Shelby County is we have sort of two narratives that are going forward. One narrative says we need to do all that we can to wrap around the services that we can for our youth, wraparound services for those who are involved in the criminal legal system to support them in order that they might have economic stability, they might have housing security, we might be able to provide the resources necessary in order for them not to be a part of or involved in crime. And then there's this other narrative that says we need to lock them up more, we need to extend the amount of time that they are incarcerated, there's a revolving door at 201 Poplar, and that is the root of our problem. And it completely ignores the effects of poverty. It completely ignores the effects of disinvestment in communities. And so we have to be intentional about saying we did not wake up to this reality in Memphis and Shelby County on a whim. It has been decades long efforts that have led to the consequences that we are now dealing with. It's the state legislature that passed permitless carry laws that have made it so that people can be in these rings, quite literally, that are breaking into cars and stealing guns. It's years of disinvestment in communities that have made it so that people are robbing just so that they can have some financial resources, right, from basic minimum things, right? Like we didn't just wake up to this reality. And so there's going to be an honest conversation that we have to have, which is we're not going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be solved.
Right.
But there are some things we can do locally. One of the things that we have to do is to vote and participate in electing our city council and county commissioners, electing general sessions clerk, electing people in positions of power who are saying, I want to prioritize this issue and I want to do it from a way that is just, a way that is fair, and a way that does not try and replicate the harms that we have done in the past. I think the other thing we have to do after you get people in office, you have to hold them accountable. Accountability does not mean I just wish those politicians would do a good job. Accountability means I'm going to show up at city council meetings, I'm going to show up at county commission meetings, I'm going to show up at the mayor's offices, I'm going to make those phone calls, I'm going to participate with organizations that are doing that advocacy work, such as Memphis Community Against Pollution, Protect Our Aquifer, MICA, or your church, right? That is and that are advocacy organizations in and of themselves, the NAACP.
Yeah.
The other thing is we got to look at our mayor and Mayor-elect Young has some really good plans and proposals in place to deal with public safety and to deal with what I believe will be, a really good office of violence prevention that's similar to what the federal government is doing. And we have to look at this holistically. That it is not just calling police after a crime has happened, right? Like that's what that's about. We have to do all the things preventatively to intervene in people's lives to prevent this in the first place.
Yeah, proactive instead of reactive in what you're saying.
That's right.
Yeah, well, listen, my friend, I got to run, but I want you to know that we are, and I say we collectively are extraordinarily proud of you. Because you're a young lion and you're a young fighter, and we need that. We need that, desperately need that, and we know that you're going to display that when the House reconvenes in just a few weeks. Listen, anytime there is something that you need us to broadcast, or you want to broadcast yourself here, you're right at home on this radio station. You know that, and on this show.
I appreciate you so much, and thank you for giving me the time and the opportunity, and just many thanks from our district to you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, Justin. We're talking 2024 for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, we got to.
Absolutely,
my friend.
Yes, take care now. All right. Justin J. Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, State Representative, District 86, joining us and laying out what needs to happen here. Memphis, we can't give up. We can't fold our tents. We have young lions like him representing us in the House of Representatives. And you know what? Bit by bit, chip by chip, they will get it done. We thank him for coming on the show. One last break, a quick one, and we will continue with this edition of Real Talk Memphis right here. God, blah, 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 blah. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Anita Ward, here to tell you a bit about my alma mater, Russ College, which supports the music of the Mid-South through its partnerships with WYXR. I've been known for singing since my days on campus, and I continue to sing Russ College's praises. Did you know Russ College and Ole Miss have partnered up to offer the all-new 3-2 program? Students interested in engineering can earn 2 degrees in 5 years by taking courses on both campuses. For more information on admissions, enrollment, and activities, visit russcollege.edu.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. And my next guest is someone who really doesn't need an introduction. Everybody knows him. He is an author. He is a commentator. He is a columnist, and I am happy to call him a friend. He is whenever I need the truth, and whenever I want to know what the real thoughts and opinions are, I come to him. And what better way to end 2023 than to bring in Otis Sanford? And he is the man. And I see him. And Otis, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate you. And how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Chip. Thank you for having me tonight.
No, listen, man, always. So I don't know if you were able to listen right before you. We had Justin J. Pearson on to talk a little bit about some of the issues and some of the concerns that are happening as he approaches another year in that nut house called the state legislature up there in Nashville.
Yeah.
But basically, from you, Otis, this has really been, I guess, a tumultuous year. And unlike one who's talking about you, someone who's been here pretty much all his life, to see what we have seen, to experience what we are constantly experiencing in our city with this violence and this turmoil that we are dealing with, what goes through you?
Well, you're absolutely right, Chip. This has to be one of, if not the most tumultuous years, certainly in my lifetime in Memphis. And it cuts through all areas of life. It cuts through certainly crime. It's unprecedented, the level of crime, especially the level of homicides and murders that we had in this city this year that broke the record again.
Mm-hmm.
But even beyond that, the death of Tyree Nichols was a devastating blow to our city. You mentioned Representative Pearson, who was on just before me. And of course, the legislature is pretty much a joke all the time in the way they handle issues and fail to handle issues. And that was a tumultuous year, expelling the Tennessee Three, including Justin, failing to do anything about guns. And so we had all of that. And then we also had the turmoil with the Memphis Grizzlies that we're still suffering through right now.
Yeah, that's true too.
Part of it as well. So yes, it's been a tough year, and I'm glad it's basically over.
So we have elected a new mayor, and we have elected half a new city council that will be taking their seats January 1st. What type of hope do you put in this new administration?
Well, certainly, the cynic in me says we can't go anywhere but up. So I guess I'll stick with that. I am hopeful.
Yeah.
I think Paul Young is a talented young man, certainly far younger than I am. I have kids who are as old as he is or older. And so I have a lot of hope for him. He has the experience in municipal government. He doesn't bring the political baggage that others may bring. And so I am hopeful that if he surrounds himself with some good people, and I think he's already this way. He doesn't pretend as if he knows everything and has all the answers. I think it's a hopeful time. As far as the city council, we'll wait and see. We still have some veterans there who are coming back. And so I just want to see how they work with the new mayor. I think they'll work better with him probably than with outgoing Mayor Jim Strickland in some ways.
He has made the announcement that he has decided to retain our current police chief, C.J. Davis. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, and I mentioned this over the weekend on television. I think that it was the right. Now, some people may disagree with me on that, but I just think that for a mayor just coming in with all the issues that we currently have, certainly with crime, that he did not need to start out his administration trying to find a new police chief. That is a tough thing to do. It's time consuming, and he needs to be devoted to other things. If he does not think that she's performing up to his standards later on, he can always make the move later. He's got 4 years, at least 4 years. So let's not start out with the most crucial decision that he has to make, or the most crucial appointment, and starting from scratch with that, with all the other issues we have with crime and the police department.
You mentioned soon-to-be outgoing Mayor Jim Strickland, and of course, you have had your thoughts and opinions about him during this 8-year period. As he is about to exit that office, what are your closing thoughts about his performance as mayor of our city?
Well, overall, and I used to be a journalism professor at the U of M,
yes.
So I give a grade based on the whole body of work. I don't just look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, and because when you look at them that way, there have been some good things and there have been some bad things.
Right.
So overall, I think it has been a pretty successful mayoral tenure, basically. I think he was the victim of some bad circumstances, Chip. I think COVID-19 hurt a lot of momentum that he was trying to build early on in that second term. I think that the crime, which is, every major city is having crime problems.
Yeah.
So it's not just Memphis. And so I think that was just tough on him, that crime basically went up every year almost of his tenure in office. But having said that, I do think the mayor in a lot of ways was a little thin-skinned on some things. He did not take some of the criticism very well, certainly not by some members of the media, and that's unfortunate. But I think overall, with the way he helped to develop our parks, certainly Tom Lee Park, you have to give him a little bit of credit with that, even though Carol Coletta was sort of the spearheader of that. But it happened under his administration. So, I mean, he did do some things, but the crime problem is going to, for right or wrong, is going to define his tenure, and that is not a good thing. But I still say overall, he did a pretty decent job.
Well, you know, my friend, I turned to you more than a few times during the year, especially just to kind of gauge your thoughts and opinions on this. And as I'm wrapping up the year in terms of the show, I'll be back in January, but I just wanted to say thank you for always being honest and open in your thoughts and your opinions. You have developed a reputation in this city as someone you can go to who won't sugarcoat what needs to be said. And we need more of that in our city. And I just wanted to personally thank you for being that guy in our city. And always somebody that I have respected for a very long time and that I really appreciate. And I want to thank you for joining me during the year. And I hope that you will take some time off the golf course next year to join me again in 2024.
Well, my golf game is so bad, I'll be hoping and praying that you'll call me.
Well, man, you are so. Otis, thank you, man. Thank you, my friend, for coming. Happy holidays to you and your family. You tell your wife, I know she just had a birthday. Happy belated birthday for me, and I really appreciate you, my friend. Be safe, be careful out there, and a happy New Year. I look forward to talking to you in 24.
Yep, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're a class act, and I always enjoy it. So happy holidays to you, and happy New Year to you.
Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that puts the cap on another great show tonight. Great guests, a great show, great conversation, as we always have. And as Brent plays this out, this is the last Real Talk Memphis for 2023. It's been a great year. And I want to thank all of the people who joined me this past year. I could not even begin to name all the folks who did. But thank you, all of you out there who gave of your time and just to be able to talk to me and to talk to our listeners out there. Great thanks to Lola, Nicole, and Bren for all they do to keep this thing upright. It's not as easy as some may think. It takes a little bit of work to put shows on like this each and every week and try to put a quality broadcast together. And I couldn't do it without them. And I'm very, very thankful for them. And I'm also thankful for you, the listeners out there, those who supported this show, those who have found our show, those who like what we do. We'll be back January 8th, the first full, week of the new year. And in the meantime, please, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Hope it's a safe and wonderful time for you as well. And for all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, I'm Chip. We're out. We'll see you in 2024.